It might come as a big surprise to some of you, but the only segment in the Indian car market that has been consistently growing over the years is the luxury car segment, even in these days of falling sales. Maybe the people are getting richer or the temptations are getting bigger. But whatever the reasons, the products in this segment are such that you would certainly like to park some of them in your garage. Recently, Mercedes-Benz India launched an upgraded version of their most popular sedan, the new E-Class. And it seems the company has worked really hard on it. Right from the interiors to the exteriors, down to the alloy wheels, everything has changed. But the big question here is, can they really take on the big rival, the BMW 5 Series? Time to find out. If you thought Mercedes was going to surprise you with this new E-Class, then you would be damn right. I'm really surprised. This car is pretty much a brand new car. There's hardly any carryover from the old car in terms of design. The instrumentation is new, the fascia is new, the color schemes are new, and obviously there are many new features in the car. So in all, quite a pleasant change. A surprise, if you will, considering that this is not a new platform. The color scheme on the fascia is dark. Normally the dark seems a little brooding, but here in this it looks quite attractive with tinges of silver in it, and they have put in a nice navigational screen in the center. Reminds you of BMW, doesn't it? But it's a lot more simpler. You have this knob to control the screen. So it's a nice display with the radio and the navigation, but not too complicated, unlike the BMW iDrive. In the center, strangely, there is a clock, and the clock is analog, and that's what surprised me. Why an analog clock in a car, I wonder? You know, it's so much easier to read a digital clock. You don't have to peer into the thing in case of an analog. The digital readouts are so much driver friendly. Another typical Mercedes idiosyncrasy is this stalk for the turn light and the wiper. One stalk to control both the functions. Is it cost saving? I wonder. This car is full of what I would call small innovations. Very German innovations, if you will, but nevertheless very meaningful and very practical. I'll give you an example. This car comes with what they call follow me headlamps, which means if you're turning the car in the night or in the day for that matter, the headlamps will follow you in that direction, and this in turn will leave no blind spots. Excellent. That means driving in the night is much more safer. And the beam in this car is absolutely excellent. These are very small things, but the fact is, it tells you how much attention to detail these manufacturers are getting into, just to make motoring that much safe for you and me. I'm very happy to see something in this car, that this car comes with only the basic seat adjustment for the driver. And the adjustment switches are located on the door panel here. It is so much nicer to have the buttons here instead of fumbling down somewhere trying to figure out which button to press. It's really nice, it's really convenient. What I'm driving is a 2.2-liter turbo diesel with over 200 PS of power and 500 Newton meters of torque. And I'm going to flip the throttle now. The power comes very linear, very straight. The engine is quite refined, and I like the growl of the exhaust. The engine is mated to a 7-speed automatic transmission with a sport mode. And you have paddle shifts here to manually change the gears in case you want to play Lewis Hamilton. Put me into a Mercedes blindfold, and I will tell you it's a Mercedes the moment you get into a winding road. The suspension is soft and it just starts to come loose. And my only advice to you would be that if you find yourself on a winding stretch of hill road, don't push this car to the limits. If you intend to spend a lot of time on the back seat of a luxury car, then I guess your best bet would be this new E-Class. The long wheelbase ensures that even if you are built like a Hulk Hogan, there is no shortage of space. Plus, I love the soft ride of this car. The suspension soaks up all the bumps and the potholes quite easily, and the ride is indeed very comfortable. Plus, you have small frills like this window curtain here, individual air conditioning with side vents, and a sunroof in case you want a tan. And if you are constantly worried about the capabilities of your chauffeur, then there is an airbag, just in case. The interiors of this BMW 525 that I'm driving is quite nice. It's comfortable, it's spacious, and it's somewhat classy. The instrumentation is well laid out, easy to read, but at the same time, it's very basic. It lacks the elegance of the new E-Class. The best part about this 5 Series BMW is the handling part. The car drives really well. And if you're a keen driver, you're going to enjoy this car. In every corner, you know exactly where the wheels are, you know what the car is doing, and it's really confidence inspiring. Oh boy, she comes out so neatly, holding her line. If you love to drive, I think you will enjoy this BMW very much. The rear seat of this BMW 5 Series is quite a comfortable place to spend time in. Lots of space, good leg room, good headroom, good shoulder room, and the seats are wrapped in quality leather. It's very comfortable. The suspension on this 5 Series is sprung really hard, and the only problem in the rear seat is this. If you are on a rough patch, some of the bumps filter through into the cabin, and you can be a little bit rattled even on the rear seat. The two here present a pretty picture, don't they? But I got a job to do. Now I have to make a choice which one is the better of the lot. Tough job looking at these two very competent machines in this segment. But then somebody's got to do the dirty job, right? Let's take a look at the new E-Class. It has really upped the benchmark for this segment. The looks are really nice, it is loaded with features, and it's a safe car to drive. And the best part about the Mercedes is the backseat comfort that you have. If you are going to get driven around in a car and use the rear seat a lot, then the choice is certainly this E-Class. It's the best-in-class rear seat comfort. Now let's take a look at the BMW. The BMW is brilliantly engineered, looks solid, and has great driving dynamics. But the only problem with the BMW now is that it's started to look a bit dated. It has been around a few years, and it can certainly do with a facelift. So today, my choice would be the new E-Class. Buying a new car can be a matter of great confusion sometimes, and can really get intense if you were to ever consider buying between a luxury sedan and a high-performance sports car. Sports cars, of course, come with their own baggage of impracticality like stiff suspension, cramped seating, etc. And the luxury sedans offer you everything but performance. And I found the right car. The perfect blend of luxury and sportiness, the Audi A7. And it doesn't look too bad either. Step into the car and you know that it offers practically every feature that you expect from a top-end automobile. Fancy Bang & Olufsen sound system with 15 speakers. The seats with massage function and excellent ergonomics with a display here called the MMI in Audi parlance. Plenty of space for 3 average-sized adults here, and the seats are wrapped in quality leather. With individual air conditioning and sound system control for the boss who might be lounging in the rear seat. And if you open the hatch here and look into the space, you will find that it becomes a mini truck.
With the seats folded down, it gobbles up 1390 liters of luggage. No problems if you are a golf fanatic or moving houses. You can stuff a lot of things in here. Hugely practical, but now let's check out what cars are basically all about. Performance.
The sort who really believes that size does matter, then initially you might be a bit disappointed because under the big bonnet sits a relatively small 3-liter V6. But it's not a question of size, it's a question of performance, and in that sense the 3-liter unit is quite a capable performer. It churns out 245 PS and 500 Newton meters of torque. What really impresses me about this Audi A7 is the low level of noise and vibration that creeps into the cabin. It's really super quiet in here, and once you roll up the windows, put on the AC, you are transported into a world of your own. It has all the gizmos, features and information you might need at your fingertips, and it's really very impressive. One of the really interesting innovations in this car is the integrated rear spoiler, which gets activated at speeds of 130 kilometers and above and gets deactivated at speeds of less than 80 kilometers. This increases the overall aerodynamic efficiency of the car at high speeds. The engine is mated to a 7-speed S-tronic transmission with both manual and sports mode, and it transfers power to all the 4 wheels. Yes, this means it is a permanent all-wheel drive, which in Audi parlance means quattro. And the advantage of this is felt when you corner hard. The car really grips the road and handling is absolutely superb. It hits the 0 to 100 kilometer mark in just about 6.3 seconds, and considering its bulk, it's impressive, which is fairly good for a car this size. It's like a sumo wrestler doing a quick 100-meter sprint and winning it too.
At 4.97 meters, she is long enough to have a street presence, but the stance is definitely sporty. The low-slung bodyline and the angled roof gives it a typical coupe look. The 18-inch low-profile tires further add to the sportiness. The inside is pure luxury. Leathers of the best quality with wood finish on the fascia. It's not only the material, but the elegance it exudes is what makes the A7 interior so very inviting. And if you are an info junkie, then you will be more than happy. From vehicle info to playing your favorite music, it is all at the touch of a button. And for driving ergonomics, it doesn't get much better. Seat adjustment, steering wheel adjustment, multi-function button on the wheel, and all controls within easy reach.
The only thing that may get in the way of your acquiring this car is the price tag. It costs over rupees 85 lakhs in Delhi. But if you are ready to pay this, you will get to office in style and have an exciting time, including a massage. What more can you really ask for?
Continuing our experience of the Honda Amaze, let's find out what the car has to offer. This sub-4 meter sedan might look compact on the outside, but on the inside, it's a completely different story. The cabin is spacious, offering ample amount of legroom, headroom and shoulder space. The driving position itself is high and provides good visibility, and the Amaze even offers good ergonomics with all the controls within easy reach. Another feature that's reserved only for the top-end variant is this multi-function steering wheel, which basically controls the music system. You can of course increase or decrease the volume from here, change between listening to your radio or your iPod or even the USB stick or even an auxiliary input like the iPod. The center console houses most of the controls. Everything works with a precise click and highlights the quality of the knobs and switchgear being used. There are also enough cubby holes and storage spaces to keep mobile phones or cups or even water bottles, all at an arm's length for easy access. The steering wheel is adjustable for height. And the top end variant here, we get a driver's side height adjustable seat, and that makes it relatively easy to find a comfortable driving position. But even after adjusting the seat for all 6 feet of me, there's still ample space in the back. That's for sure. There's enough and more real estate back here. The seats themselves are pretty comfortable but kind of flat, and I suspect that's done on purpose simply to accommodate 3 full-size adults at the back, which I believe is very much possible simply because of the flat floor over here. But even if they're just 2 people sitting in the back, things can get even more comfortable because you can slide down the center armrest, which makes the long journey ahead even more comfortable. But when there are 2 people, a center armrest can be flipped down for use. There is another bottle holder in the middle of the front 2 seats, some more space in the door side pockets for storing knickknacks or even more water bottles. So she's smart, big on the inside, but how does she behave out on the road? Catch us again next week when we take the Amaze out to play.
It's a beautiful morning, misty and raining, and the hills are all green, and it's time for us to start on another journey. We leave Nainital for Bhimtal, a distance of 22 kilometers, and we should cover this in about an hour. I am driving the new 2013 Fiat Linea powered by a 1.3-litre multi-jet diesel engine. The engine belts out 93 PS and the handling is superb. The Linea grips the road very well and it's a pleasure to drive it on these winding hill roads.
Legend has it that one of the Pandavs, Bhim, while in exile came here, and this is how the place gets the first half of its name. The second half obviously comes from the fact that there's a beautiful lake or tal here. It's monsoon time here, and the lake is almost full and brimming over at the top and is surrounded by lush green mountains. It's indeed a wonderful sight that greets a visitor here. Bhimtal is an ideal place to get away from the madness of a big city and spend a few quiet days here. There are lovely walking trails up here in the mountains, and the lake provides a nice opportunity for boating or kayaking. Whatever you do is sure to send you back in a much more relaxed state of mind and soothe your tired soul. I'm told the lake here is quite rich in marine life and it's possible to catch a fish as big as 6 feet long. Well, you know fishermen. With every drink they have, the fish seem to be getting bigger and bigger. So I don't quite believe the 6 feet story, but nevertheless I have seen fish here. And in Bhimtal, it's legally possible to fish if you get a small permit. And that permit, I believe, is easy to come by. So I'm going to try my luck and see what I can land up for dinner tonight. Bhimtal is still not on the radar of many regular tourists, which is just as well, because this is what gives this place its quiet and serenity. But at the same time, it's well equipped to handle all those who land up here. It offers a variety of staying options, starting from budget hotels to luxury resorts. And I feel that Bhimtal should figure on every traveler's itinerary, because this can be a good base to explore other parts of Uttarakhand.
Talk of exploring, and we are off again to see what the surrounding area offers. We are told that there is another lake, or rather a cluster of lakes called Satal, so we are off. The distance from Bhimtal to Satal is only 5 kilometers, but the drive is extremely enjoyable through green forest and winding hill roads.
In my years of travel, I've realized one thing. The less publicized a place, the better it turns out to be. And Satal is an example of this. This is where I am. Satal is actually, historically speaking, a cluster of 7 lakes. But today only 5 exist. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful place. Green, quiet, and an ideal place to spend a long weekend in. It stopped raining. It's time to enjoy the scenery. Perfect recipe for a lazy afternoon. Tea, me, and some steaming pakoras. Wonderful.
Now it's time once again to explore the lakes on the other side of Bhimtal. We are now off to Nokuchia Tal.
I'm standing by the Nokuchia Lake. Nokuchia means 9 corners, and it is believed that anybody who at one glance sees all the 9 corners will attain instant nirvana. So let me try my luck. Oh boy, I see only 3 corners and I give up. No such luck for me. This is the deepest lake in Uttarakhand. It is situated at a height of about 4,500 meters above sea level and is fed by underground spring waters, which means that this lake is never going to dry up, at least technically. It has been a rather interesting trip to the Lake District of Uttarakhand. We drove the 2030 model Fiat Linea and it has been a perfect companion. Good highway performance, lots of room and great fuel economy. What impressed me most was that I personally love to save a few hundred rupees on fuel every time I hit the highway. But now it's time for me to say goodbye to all of you. But if you do have a long weekend on your hands, plan on visiting this part of Uttarakhand. I think you'll be aptly rewarded. And now, it's time for me to enjoy the mountains some more.